Right, hi everybody. Welcome to the Healthy Vibe Tribe, helping you feel good inside and out. And tonight we have with us Helen from Helen Wyer Advanced Hypnotherapy, talking about hypnotherapy and how it can help you. So Helen, tell us, welcome, and tell us all about you.
Oh, well, thank you for inviting me. It's very exciting. As I say, lovely backdrop behind you. That's going to. I'm going to hypnotise myself just looking at it. It looks so lovely. So I run Advanced Hypnotherapy. Have been doing so for 3 years full time now, which is very exciting. And work from premises in Ipswich as well as online, do an awful lot of work online, obviously during the lockdowns and things like that. So yeah, things changed for me a lot last year, but I'm continuing with those changes because it really works for, and it keeps people safe and things like that. So
Brilliant.
Able to do both face-to-face and on, because I'm considered mental health, and online at the moment. So
fantastic. I know I've seen so many of your reviews and the amazing work that you do. And
yeah, thank you.
What would you say is sort of the most common issue you're dealing with at the moment?
Oh, anxiety and anxiety related things like irritable bowel syndrome, because they are all related. The way our body works is obviously quite often related to our minds and things like that. So I do an awful lot of work with people with irritable bowel syndrome, anxiety, fears, phobias, all those sorts of things have really come to the fore in this last year. I'm an anxiety specialist anyway, as in I don't specialize in my own anxiety, but helping people to really overcome it and get that control back again and feel calm. So
it's understandable that it's on the rise, with literally being bombarded with fear at the moment, aren't we? That if you do watch the news, then there's you just can't get away from what's going on. I choose to switch that off and listen to podcasts instead. but yeah, I mean, especially I think as well, those feelings get heightened when you're just in the same four walls, and you're going to get more scared to go out the more you're locked in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think children also are picking up on it. I've had more lots of more people come, saying, please will you work with my, the youngest I tend to work with is about 9 years old, but I've got two 9-year-olds booked in tomorrow, teenagers Wednesday afternoon, right up until 70. I think my oldest person I've worked with was 78, but that's great. So the whole way through, the whole age group, because it is. It's been a year, and as you say, we're not getting out to do the things that we would ordinarily do to help and things like that. So it tends to have just come to the fore. And like you say, with the news, it is relentless, and it has been for almost a year. Which takes its toll as well. So
that's it. And it's a completely new situation. No one's ever had to deal with it before, and yes, it's challenging, I'm sure, and that's why that's inspired me to start doing this and offer as much help as I can. And also I just really love speaking to other people that are helping and providing the therapies that are alternate to, obviously getting a doctor's appointment is a lot more difficult these days as well. So hopefully people are becoming much more aware of the other treatments that are available.
And some people don't or can't go down a tablets route, and that has its own issues, or some people choose to say, well, I am on tablets, but I'd like to actually get to the root cause of it and let it go, so that I'm not reliant on it for the next 20 years or something like that. Which quite often I do see people like that as well. And I hear your little one in the background there, but the whole, everyone's having to homeschool and work at the same time. That again brings another level of stress and anxiety that we've not had to do before. So
Yeah,
it's really tough for people.
Definite newfound respect for teachers. It's hard enough with one child, let alone a class of 30. But I mean, they're effectively as well, I think, become to appreciate the fact that they don't just teach the child at school. They're aware of all the issues that might be going on with that child and that family. It must be heartbreaking for them to know that some children are in a house where it might not be safe, and it's it's not a loving environment. It's just unbelievable. But true, isn't it?
Yeah, and I used to be a teacher, and I still keep in touch with a lot of my teacher friends, and make sure they're okay as well, and things. But it does come with its own, again, they've all had to learn a different way of delivering lessons, and as you say, you've got that at the back of your mind, especially if it's, and you do really care about those children you teach, and it's that sort of like, oh, I know that situation might not be the best for that little one there, and so that can bring its own layer of angst and things.
That's it. I know my boy is definitely missing his teacher, bless him. And it's so lovely to see that relationship, because when they're at school, I think they get tired, and when they come home, they don't necessarily want to talk about what they've done, or so in that respect, it's been really positive to get to know the teachers a lot better, and understand what your child's doing at school as well. But so what would you say is your sort of number one technique? Have you got any sort of simple techniques that people could do themselves to help with anxiety?
Always, I always say to people, even if you don't, I do quite a lot of workshops for companies around stress and anxiety for their employees. And I think one of the reasons people like me to come in to do those, well, they come in as much as you can over a Teams call or something like that. Is I always say people have such practical takeaways, to be able to use straight away. And I always say the breathing, for anybody with anxious thoughts or this, that, and the other, is absolutely key, because it calms down that whole system, stimulates the vagus nerve, where often we get that whole sort of, anxious thinking and thoughts. I tend to do what they call 3-5 breathing, which is to breathe in through the nose for a count of about 3, then holding the breath. So you don't, it's not like otherwise you can get into panting like you're having a baby if you don't hold the breath. So it's breathing in for 3, just holding, and then a lovely long out breath for the count of about 5. Do that for about a minute. And what I say to people is do it regularly throughout the day, whether you need it or not, because often we say, right, I'm going to wait until I feel like this. And it takes longer. Whereas if you just keep doing it, I tend to do it. I do like my tea, and I do like my coffee. So every time I put the kettle on, it's my chance then to think the kettle takes, what, minute and a half, something like that, to boil. I can choose then to scroll on social media, or something like that, or just spend that moment doing some breathing, which, we're going to see benefits of that, and it keeps that level of calm before it even spikes. So that's a really key thing.
That's brilliant. And I love the fact that tying it into an everyday activity just makes it that much more manageable, and just to get that thought in your head.
Well, I think knowing from being a busy person, if I have something that somebody goes, oh, you need to do this, or you've got to do that, it's like another thing to put on my list. Whereas if I put it into something in my day that I do anyway, so I will boil the kettle, I know that. People will have other routines that work for them, but building it into your day with it means it doesn't become yet another thing that you have to do that adds to your list. It just becomes a part of what you do. And my mind now associates even the when I turn the kettle on, I can almost feel the calm, because my mind says, oh, this is your time, Helen, your time for just that minute or whatever. So that's really lovely.
That is brilliant. I'm